Good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And y'all, we're talking today about healing your life, but it's healing in a new way. It's healing in this alchemy that's available to us at this time, perhaps in a way that has never been there before, but that we've had records for, that we've had information in, that we've been tapping into the wisdom and something that's deeply imprinted in perhaps your own blueprint or map that Emily Harrison, our guest today, is going to tap us into. It's going to be an amazing call. Every time Emily's on, I just want to sit back and listen because I receive so much. Um, so I hope that you all have the opportunity to sit back, relax, receive, and of course we'll get into Q&A and the special offer of Emily's epic as always. Um, but I hope that you receive the beauty of the transmission that is being brought forth today. And it's with that, Emily, that I want to welcome you to the show today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me back. I feel like it's a homecoming. I feel like I'm coming back to like a big family reunion every time I get to join you and the BTO family. So thank you guys. I'm excited to be back.
Will you share a little bit about your background? I didn't go into your bio or how you guide in the multiple of ways that you do. If you could share,
Absolutely.
that'd be great.
So if this is the first time that we are having the pleasure of meeting, I'm Emily Harrison. I'm the founder director here inside the Akashic Academy, and I'm an Akashic Records mentor. So I work with visionaries and thought leaders, training them how to tap into their Akashic record so that they can clear and heal their karma. We're going to talk about healing our life tonight, right? And then once we clear enough of that dense vibration out and our vibrational frequency raises, we step into a level of creatorship that is profound here on the planet. So when we begin to recognize our unique genius, how we can serve, the records helps open up this creative part of our mind so that we can see our mission here on the planet. So I help people tap into what that mission, what that service is, so that they can live in fulfillment in their life, right? We have this divine human blueprint that is pulsing within us, and it's coming online, and it's inviting us to live in our highest potential in all areas of our life, with our health, our wealth, our relationships, and our career, or what we do to show up and serve the planet. So since I discovered the Akashic Records, John, in 2015, I have been so inspired to share with other people about this technology, because before I learned how to read the records, I experienced things that I'm sure a lot of people out here are experiencing. Like, I felt confused about my life. I was an actress, a Hollywood actress, and I'd been doing it I did it total for 20 years. But really during the time, I was maybe 10 or 12 years into it, and I was starting to use these powerful skills, and I'm getting more and more jobs, right? But the more jobs I'm getting, also the more jobs I'm not getting. So the
Mm.
rejection started to pile up on me a little bit, right? And I'm a mom with young kids, and I'm overwhelmed with what it takes to parent young kids and balance a career, and just feeling like my life looks perfect on the outside, but it's not perfect on the inside. I had challenges with my husband, the kid's dad at the time, that I didn't have the tools to deal with. And so I felt like I had to keep up this persona of everything's going great, when really on the inside, I was confused and depressed and didn't have skills to really manage my life. And when I found the Akashic Records, and I'll give everybody some context for the records if you're new. The records are the realm of consciousness that hold all information, past, present, all possible futures, and is recorded from a neutral perspective. So this allows us to see ourselves truly from the God perspective, right? The records hold an account of our life forward and backward through time. So when we learn to tap in and ask questions and get this guidance, things start making sense, right?
Mm.
And when we understand why we're miscreating, because we're creating everything that we're experiencing. I was creating the lack of fulfillment. I was creating the depression. I was creating all of these different things in order for my soul to learn, right? In order to create a catalyst for my soul to learn. And the Akashic records were the thing, John, that made the pieces of that were missing in my life crystal clear, from information about my life's journey and purpose to understanding myself and how I operated, as well as calling through energy transmissions. And you noted the transmission that comes in tonight. It's not just going to be cool intelligence that like gives us these aha moments. Or causes us to see life differently. That's cerebral knowledge. That's information that comes in. That's important. But there's also an activation. There's an energy. There's a motivation. There's something that comes in today that will shift your DNA and help compel you to move forward in the direction of your highest good. So yeah,
Mm.
I've been on mission and purpose to teach as many people as will listen about the Akashic records. So I've loved coming here. You're one of my big accomplishments, John, in terms of my career and what I've accomplished because I listened every day, years, 10 years at least. And so to come back, it really does feel like family. But I've also been able to share this at Harvard University. And I was on the NASDAQ billboard recently, and I've spoken in
Amazing. Yeah.
Gaia. And I'm going to Conscious Life Expo and be on stage in live.
You're on Gaia TV. You've been there's
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot with your qualifications for sure. Well, what I'm compelled to reflect upon is, well, yeah, the connection and you coming onto the show and just immediately like there's just this star energy that's luminous for other people to really tune into because we all have access to get into a coherent energy of our choosing at this time, of our choosing, and to know what choices are available and to feel our way and use and tap into these tools that are available to us to that we can access those things that perhaps we thought were elusive for some reason. And the way that you speak about and teach, but also transmit what's through the Akashic really levels something up that's available. And I know I'm going long, but give me just a second because I think this is really important. Part of what I love about, not love, I greatly appreciate and respect about the way that you bring it in. It reminds me of Bikram yoga. And in Bikram yoga, they always call it Bikram's yoga. No matter how advanced you are, it's beginning Bikram's yoga because every time that you go in, there's something new to unfold, no matter what limitations you thought were there before that you've gone through that have been amplified into another level. There's just another portion of refinement that's coming through. So it's really quite impressive at the
Thank you.
fountain of intelligence and wisdom and amplification that's available.
And I was able to recognize as you were sharing that, John, um, I love beginner's mind. I
Yeah,
love being in beginner's mind. And it's really a culture that now that you've said it, we've illuminated, I'm going to bring it even more dynamically into my sacred classroom. Because this Heal Your Life program, we get to talk a little bit more about this today. I had somebody reach out to me and say, is this for beginners or advanced or like what level is this? Guess what? This is everybody's a beginner here, include like, right? We're all beginners. Come in with your beginner's mind. Lay your expertise at the door so you can really get what's there for us, right? And when we tune into life in that way, there's there's power that we miss, right? If and I believe in not being cocky, but being confident for sure, right? In what it is that we do. But when we find that balance of be confident in beginner's mind, how about that?
love that. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Well, and there's a vitality that comes through being willing to experience something for the first time, even though you think you've experienced it as many times as you thought that you could to master it.
Yes. John, the clairsentience just going off like crazy in my
Right.
body. Transmissions are already coming in.
Hmm. So let's get into healing our lives. What does that mean for you, and how does this apply to the work that you're doing with your clients and with your community?
Well, I've noticed that there is a radical invitation for self-leadership right now. And 2025 feels like the year where there's going to be a lot more separation in terms of the light and the shadow. Meaning, if you decide to step into your potential and you decide to play big, you're going to play really big. Not to say that you're not going to have these swings along the way, but if you step in and you fully commit, to this heaven on earth energy that's available for us, you will consecrate that on this planet. You will experience that in your life. You do also have free will to continue with the dark karma and the negativity, the density that's happening here on this planet. But there's a moment of critical choice that's
Mm.
here in front of us. And for everyone to step into that higher timeline, there are going to be areas of our life where we need to course correct. Course correction is one of the most important skills that we can have along the way, because course correction becomes very easy once our navigation system is strong and clear. Your goal, your North Star is clear. Course correction becomes really easy because you're the slightest bit off and you feel it, right? When your vision is so clear, your vision dictates what you say yes or no to.
Mm.
Right? Now, if we're off course, we feel it. We feel like we're missing something. We feel like there's more in our life, right? We feel like our relationships don't fulfill us. We have challenging relationships with money. And if anyone is still experiencing these things right now, there are some of my areas of my life that are not fully in alignment with this highest coherence that you're talking about, John, right? But it's time to do the work now, and that's the work of Heal Your Life. We've also increased our ability to see ourselves from a neutral perspective, the courage to see the truth of who we are. And here's why let's get excited about course correction, that each one of us have it, that we still have work to do. Because in order for humanity to really get to a point of peace, the parties that are quarreling, that are creating the non-peace, right, have to get to a place where they lay their weapons down. And what I have found that means, in like, I'm seeing it in my relationships, I'll see it with my kids, not nearly as intense as a global war, or is it? If it's happening inside of us still, that's what's creating it on the outside world, right?
Mhm.
But it doesn't feel like global war on the inside of my life. It doesn't feel that intense. So I feel grateful that I get to work with this karma, and it's not quite so intense that I go to the grocery store and I'm expecting a bomb to go off, right? So as I work with this energy on the inside and I work with my kids, Vivian especially, my teenage daughter, anybody got teenage daughters, they have something special. I've gotten to the point where I don't even engage in the argument back and forth. I know
Mm.
that she's going to go through it from a certain perspective. Her brain is not actually evolved enough to a state where she sees outside of her own world. She's trying to craft her own identity. Of course she's showing up like this. Like, stop fighting it, Emily. Lay the weapons down. Just let her be exactly where she is right now, right? But I had to go through multiple times of not showing up that way, John, of continuing to fight, continuing to hold on to whatever justification that I'm right. It's time to find these areas of our life where you're holding on to justification that you're right in whatever story you're telling. Okay, yours might not look like a story that you're telling with your family. If you've got money challenges, you're holding on to a story of money lack right now. And it's time to course correct that. It's time to shift that, because the
Mm.
doors to the 5D, the heaven on earth, are wide open. And when we take this responsibility and take actions right now, we're going to see radical shift. We're going to move really quickly out of the density into the 5D.
What you're talking about is also taking me into the aspect of wisdom and how we accumulate it. And there's wisdom from the little self, the small self that we carry forward, and it's intellectual, and we use it as a repetition to create a repeated pattern of success that's been demonstrated to us, or potentially, and that has kept us again in a comfort zone. But then there's the wisdom from the bigger self, the wisdom of the soul that's coming through. And that's really expanding possibilities. And again, it's taken us into a place where the small self has to get into beginner's mind. And it attunes into a wisdom that's inherent. And I feel that that's what you're talking about. So talk to us more about how we can unlock this wisdom of the bigger self, of the soul, rather than trying to circulate the smaller self wisdom.
My favorite way to do it right now, John, and you tapped into it when you said we get to feel our way through things. I'm finding that our bodies are giving us so much feedback that that little self that you talked about has shut down or has ignored or stopped paying attention to. That's one of the fastest ways to get back in touch with your higher self is just begin to listen to what your body is telling you. And when we talk about what your body is telling you, that can be chills going through your body. It can be sensation going through the body. It can be feelings that you're noticing. But check in with the body as a mechanism for intelligence and allow it to give you feedback, because it's going to give you feedback that's not like mental languaging, like we're talking back and forth. It's going to get your mind out of the way.
Mhm.
And it's going to give you intelligence from a different source. So that's a really great way for people to go about tapping into their higher self. That doesn't look like the traditional, okay, go ahead and meditate. Of course, you know I love asking the Akashic records. Y'all can go in and meditate and ask the records all day about your higher self and get plenty of information. But I do feel like we're doing it in a more innovative way
Mhm.
right now, right? So that's why I'd say listen to the body.
Yeah. Well, you also get into the power of vortexes. What does that have to do in the alchemy of the Akashic records, self-healing, belief systems? What's this aspect of vortexes and how do you bring it into your work?
This is a tool of the great magician,
Mm.
and understanding the vortex energy and how we can amplify our powers. Now, we are going to get into vortex energy, but I'm going to make everybody work for it a little bit first, because we don't want to amplify the things in our life that we don't actually want.
Mhm.
Mount Shasta is a physical vortex that I take people into. And we do a lot of work before we go into that physical vortex to clear things out of our field that we don't want to amplify. But there are always some things hiding in there, and or things that we don't recognize in those moments that need to move out of our field. I mean, I can tell you, I can think of 3 women off the top of my head who I think truly were unhappy in a marriage, but not in a state to be fully self-expressed in that by the time
Mm.
we went to Shasta. So they didn't do clearing and healing work. They went into Shasta, and in the year after Mount Shasta, those relationships disintegrated. They moved out of their way, out of their field, right? So when you go into vortex energy, you're going to amplify, you're going to clear out of your field what you think you're ready or what you're not ready for, right? And that's why we want to do the work ahead of time so that we can have as much heads up and as much mastery, as much mindfulness, as much conscious creation over our experience as possible.
Mm. What does the work beforehand look like?
The work beforehand looks like first understanding the power of the Akashic records and how we use this to get more instantaneous revelation, right? And then once we're able to access the records and get the information, then we're going to start working on where do you have places in your body that your body is telling you this needs to go. And it can be physical areas where you have density or pain in the body. It can also be areas where, in a state of meditation, your intuition brings you into, let's say, into your heart. A lot of people have heart walls. We have unforgiveness for ourselves and others. So once we learn to remove and release these energies from the body, and the body can vibrate to this lightness of being, it's awesome to start amplifying the energy that moves through us, because once we do this clearing, we're vibrating closer to our divine original blueprint. The thoughts that we have are going to be creative. They're going to be in alignment with the highest good for ourselves and everyone connected to us. They're going to be born out of a desire to collaborate rather than to execute power over another. Okay, that's it right there, John. That's the key. Now that I talk around it for however many minutes, it's we've got to get to the point where we're no longer wanting to execute power over others, but initiate the power within ourselves. Okay, and the last stage of doing that is clearing this density out of the body in the places where we're still holding on to it.
Mm. How does someone go through the phases of the different initiations also? Because I can guarantee almost everybody on this call, I would say everybody on this call, we've gone through, okay, I've worked on that pattern and I've done this, but why does the relationship issue keep showing up? Why does the financial pattern keep showing up? Why does it seem that I'm I'm repeating the same story, but with different people, and maybe I'm leveling up a little bit, but when am I going to break out of the box?
Mhm. Well, let's get some box breaking out of tonight because all we
Awesome.
need to do is like learn to see things just a little bit differently,
Mm,
right? I think it's also important to recognize like we are primed and programmed in a society of instant gratification.
yes.
We like that feeling of like, here it is. Yes, I'm ready to break out, right? And it's important to realize we're all like Chinese bamboo. The work we've been doing the work. We've been in the ground. Chinese bamboo stays dormant for about 5 years. Doesn't look like anything happening. You think you killed it at least 10 times. And then overnight it grows 5 feet. It's like, wow,
Mm,
right? So the guides are inviting everybody feel into that. Feel into that. Remember, we talked about that track of the soul, that evolutionary track of the soul. We've been doing this and messing it up, by the way. So we bound to get it about right. Can't you feel we're right there? Right? But we've been messing it up since Lemuria Atlantis, since ancient Egypt. Like we've done it enough times wrong now where we've got the skills that it's all right there in front of us. All right there in front of us. I think that we've got all the skills at this point. What I'm noticing is order of operations matters, John, and how we do things differently. So let's just like take the relationship thing. For example, you talked about repetitive cycles in relationships. Like what is it that I'm not getting? Slight tweak. Rather than looking for that person, like get you, yay, all of us. We've gotten really clear in our mind about what we want to call in, what we want to manifest, right? But here's the key. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. So rather than working on manifesting, just become that version. Like you have the blueprint right there. Work
mm.
on becoming all of those things, and you will vibrate in coherence with that person. They will show up.
I just want to pause there for everybody to receive that because it's really easy to smooth it over when we can talk about 100 different things, but just that and the call for the stillness in that space rather than moving on to the next thing so quickly because we got this slight little hit
Mhm.
and the self-soothing from that self-responsibility that comes, right? That's the healing part that you talk about.
And that's why it's so important that we do our own course correcting, right?
Mhm,
We have to self-soothe. We have to self-heal. It's really awesome to go to a healer and to get in wisdom and feel it, right? But let's learn how to do it for ourselves.
mhm. And it's that's the age that we're in. That's the consciousness that we're creating the collective world through right now. And it's the outside reflection waiting for something to fulfill us or to save us or to
Mhm.
direct us so that we can know who we are. That model obviously is not working in the way that perhaps it did at one time.
Mhm.
And communities like this, we're discovering that. We get to be the guinea pigs and get to go through the initiation of the journey in ways that perhaps others may not have to, because they will have you to light the way. But the wonderment of what's possible and the creative force that is creating a way for the possibility of a new consciousness to awaken for the collective is profound. So there's something in the way that these communities or our communities are wired that carry an essence that's so vital for the foundation of what's being created.
Mhm. Yes.
And how do we tap? And again, what we're doing and what you lead and guide us into also is working with the Akashic, getting into the original blueprints, the essence of what's there, and articulating a potentiality that's really ready to create with us and blueprint with us.
That's what the guys are saying right now. It's so simple. The 5D, our highest potential, it's here now. It's all around us. It's just our job to strip away the layers so that we can see it. And that's what Heal Your Life is really about. Like, let's strip away these final layers so that we can see it. It's right here. And it's so palpable. It's so fun when you tap into it. The manifestation is getting so ultra fast. So, John, I shared with you behind the scenes that I got an opportunity today, which I said yes to speak at
Mm.
Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles. Now, here's the part that I didn't tell you. I had restless sleep last night. I woke up at about 2 in the morning, got up to go to the bathroom. Before I look at my phone, I noticed my thoughts. I tried to notice the quality of my thoughts, right? And I noticed myself thinking, man, I miss speaking on stage. I want to be back on stage and feel that again. It's like 2 in the morning, right? I look at my phone. I have no idea why my friend's up. He must be in China. But he sends me a message at like 2:20. Hey, Em, I just got asked to speak at Conscious Life Expo. They're looking for more speakers. Do you want me to see if I can get you on? I'm like, yes, in the wee hours of the morning. Like, it's happening this quickly. And the reason that it's happening this quickly for me is a commitment to continue to clear, heal the stuff, constant course correction. And that's what I'm so excited to share and teach everyone else so that they can tap into what's available, the magic and the instantaneousness of what's available to us as we start raising our frequency.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I'm having similar experiences as what you're speaking about. Instant, like it's a thought, I hold it in my field, and it's not like I'm trying to hold it in my field. I'm just naturally holding it in my field. It's not a process or a tool I go into. It just becomes the symbiotic relationship of the alchemy that's working through me, and then different opportunities are showing up almost spontaneously. And what you're talking about, and I love how you guide people. It's like, y'all, Emily is guiding that, she's one-on-one like us, her capacity to guide on an executive level in businesses and direct, it's like super high level from there. And it's the field that she holds and the refinement that's possible and working with her and someone who can be what she's teaching so she can demonstrate it to somebody else how they can do it for themselves. I have so much admiration and respect for. Um, and there's clearing that's happening, but what's also happening on the other side of the clearing is that there's a clarity. It's from the clarity that that creation is coming from. And you're teaching that, you're engendering that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It's really quite profound. Um, should we get into some Q&A? Where do you want to take us now? Where should we go?
Yeah, let's go to Q&A. I
Go to
see Linda
Q&A.
here with us, right?
Let's get
Let's go.
Linda on here. And y'all, if you want to ask your question, raise your hand, type your question into the chat box, um, and we'll dive in. Linda, welcome to the call.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me. Emily, I would love any kind of message as far as anything to do with the tax stuff I'm dealing with right now, whether or not that'll go forward easily.
Well, anytime you use the word tax, and I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, is it easy? Okay, so I do feel like there's somewhat of an ease in there, and there's um there is an ease. And what the guides are saying, Linda, is that there are supportive people there to meet you. This is really more about breaking paradigms in your mind for you, especially around money. Because a lot of times we think of the IRS as, oh my gosh, this is going to, and we put it off and we don't even want to look at it. So the fact that you're even having conversations about things that are about these financial matters is a sign of self-acceptance. And this is huge, y'all. Self-acceptance is the opposite of shame. Shame is the lowest vibrational frequency on the chart. So if you got shame in any area of your life, it will hold you back in all areas of your life because patterns repeat themselves. All right, so we want to celebrate Linda right now because you are having an opportunity to erase that and to tap into self-acceptance. Just the fact that you're facing it, you got self-acceptance going. The other thing is that it's important for you to experience and for you to have the mind shift because you're connected to the collective. It's important for you to have an experience of the bad guy who's here to get me. Oh, isn't really. Actually, they're going to help me move through this process. I got people who are willing to help. And see, as we shift our mindset from who we think our enemies are into how we see them differently, it shifts everything in the collective. This is a movement back into peace for humanity. The guides are thanking you for showing up on this mission. And they're also saying you get to choose how you feel about it. If you want it to feel easy, choose ease.
Okay,
Okay?
great.
Good job.
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much. That makes me very happy because I do choose ease, believe me.
And the guides are also saying now that there's a recognition on how this mission is tied into the shifting of the entire planet, it feels like there's just even more love and light shown into it so it can move through with ease. We don't have to have a lot more hiccups around it. It's like they get it. They get it. Okay, let's move on.
Right.
Thank you.
Lyndon, come back and listen to what Emily's sharing with you, because what I also feel is part of what's coming up for you in the nervous system response. It's something that you've learned is supposed to be there rather than what actually is true.
Okay.
So if you come and listen from that perspective, again, curious mind, kind of be your own therapist standing on the side while you're listening to Emily talking to you over here.
Okay.
And be curious of what that might inspire in you as far as identities that don't belong to you.
It's getting easier. And so, like what Emily picked up, it is getting easier, and I'm finding an ease that I didn't expect,
Mm,
especially with all the things that have precipitated lately. So I'm very glad that I've got enough help and guidance. And
good.
so I appreciate both of you very much.
You're very welcome. I know you've been on a journey this year, and so blessings to you and my love.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Just
Mhm.
hit on for a moment the ease I didn't expect. Because I think, I mean, especially here in America with elections and like all of the political unrest, I think a lot of people are expecting unrest. So the fact that you said the ease that I didn't expect, whoo,
Yeah.
the more we can tap into that, guys, the more we're ushering in that heaven on earth frequency faster. Okay, that's
Mhm.
an important one. It's medicine for all of us. Okay, good
I
stuff.
love that. Thank you.
Blessings. Blessings to
You
both of
too.
you.
All right, y'all.
Thank you.
We're gonna get into a lot more Q&A, and we need to get into special offer, not quite just yet, but Chris, put the link for the special offer in the chat box. Y'all can click on the special offer button on the webpage where you're listening from. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll find the link in the comment section. But I want to go to Carrie first. Carrie, welcome to the call.
Hey, John. Hey, Emily. Thank you for taking my call. I have a question, and I was wondering, and I wrote it down in the chat, but I'm going to repeat it again. It said, what do I need to do to course correct my healing practice to allow more growth and expansion to happen? And then I really have felt this too. I feel like there's this ancestral financial lack that's come through my childhood and also my ex that was here bringing that pattern through. So is there a way to send that on through the vortex, please?
Yeah,
Get
let's
that
send
out
them roll
here.
through. All right, let me see what the guide had to say for you, Carrie. Um, First of all, in terms of course correcting in your
Mhm,
business isn't actually set up right now, the guides are saying, as a sustainable model for what it is that you want to actually make. So unless we're set up so when the money flows in,
mhm,
it consistent, it's a screwed up model. And the best example I can share with you is that when I started doing this work, I was $40 an hour for an Akashic record reading, and I finally, after many years, worked my way up to $250 an hour, and I felt slick the first time someone paid me that. I'm like, yeah, I can't even believe it. And then right on the heels of that, I did the math of how much it would take me to make six figures. That's a point in my mind where I'm like, okay, life feels like I can show up, I can have a lifestyle a standard of living, and I cannot be stressed if I'm good about my money. So that's my point, right?
Mhm.
When I did the math on what it would take to get there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this model doesn't work, right? There wasn't enough time, Carrie, for me to find those clients, to book them, to follow up with them. And so I had to create a model that actually worked. Okay.
Mm.
And the guides are saying that your model doesn't work. So that's the place you want to start, is you got to get a model that works. Okay.
Mm.
Definitely.
Okay.
Because it's
Send
been
me.
14 years that I've been doing
Oh,
this, and I feel like I'm flying by the seat of my pants all the time, and it slows down, it picks up and slows down. It's not consistent, and
okay.
The
I'm like, I
model.
need help,
Yep, the slow down and pick up thing is gonna keep happening too. I finally just surrendered myself to, all right, I guess the Hermetic principle that talks about ebb and flow is right.
right?
Right? As much as I've been trying to fight it, I guess it's right. So, but
Yeah.
here's what changes, right? When we really truly learn wealth mindset and how to manage our money in our business, how to set up our business properly, and then how to pay ourselves properly, what happens, Carrie, is we are prepared for those ebbs and flows. So we don't really we barely notice them. Sometimes we even look forward to them because we get to go inward more,
Right.
right? But
Yeah.
and this is what I was talking about, order of operations. Okay. So before we launch out and we launch out there into a business, and we got all of our beautiful skills and services that we're wanting to put out there, along with our own journey of healing, like before we throw all that out there and wonder why it doesn't work, we've got to plan for how it will work. And one of the mindsets I spoke on a summit last week. I talked about the 3 mindsets to make you unstoppable. No,
Mhm.
actually, the record said it's the 3 Akashic mindsets that guarantee your success in any goal or endeavor. Okay.
Mm.
Um, oh, now I'm going to put myself on the spot to remember, Miss Carrie. The first one is the vision has to be so clear that the vision says the yes or the no. The vision directs what we say yes or no to. Okay. The
Okay.
second one is to cultivate resiliency. Next play, next play, next play. Because stuff's going to blow up in your face. You're going to have a bad audition. You're going to have a client who says you suck. Next play, next play, next play. We've got to cultivate that. The third one, freaking brilliant. We should
Mm.
spend far more time in preparation than in execution. And what happens is we get all excited and we throw our stuff out there. That's executing before we've actually prepared. So if you
Mhm.
take a step back, if you create a real business model that will support and sustain you, right? That's
Yeah.
going to be the place to start so that you can start bringing in the money that you want to bring in. Any business people out there who want to hop on a business call with me, send me an email, emilytheakashicacademy.com, say we talked at BTO, because I want to
Mm.
make sure that I know where you came from. Okay. And I'll send you back a link for a free business assessment call.
Amazing.
That
Okay.
would be awesome. Yes, I need some structure with that help.
I'll help.
Yay. Thank you.
Emily's awesome at it. I highly recommend you take advantage of that. Um,
Okay.
Blessings to you, Carrie.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming on. All right,
Thank
y'all.
you.
We're going to get into more Q&A. There's questions in the chat box also. And I want to give ample time for the special offer that's coming through, because Emily's giving you a deep dive into her genius on this. So I hope you click on the link and follow along. Emily, why'd you create this particular special offer for us?
Oh, because I wanted to give everyone a taste of what can be accomplished inside the Akashic Academy. Because there's Akashic Records, there's going to Mount Shasta, and people need to really get the vision of what is possible, along with stellar training. So here's what I was going for when I was creating this. I wanted to give people landscape of the academy and get them in here and get them tools. I wanted to give you all stellar education. Tips, practical tips and tools that you take away on the first class, you start experiencing them and you see results. We're going to be seeing and sharing results as we go along here through this process. And I also wanted to create a community of genius minds, of high level individuals who desire to work in a space of best-selling authors, screenwriters, doctors, lawyers, like people who are taking this work very, very seriously. Okay, so that's the community and the culture I desired to create, because that's the place, that's how we transform. Honestly, the most powerfully, it has to do with the environment. So we wanted to create an amazing environment. Then we're going to talk about the power of the Akashic records. I have training about the Akashic records that I've never taught before. So this is going to be magical new intel and insight into the Akashic records. Then we're going to get into healing. We're going to talk about areas of the body where you need to heal. We're going to teach you about chakras, how the chakras are connected, and give you different kinds of like practical tools, healing mechanisms that you can try and begin using on your life. You have a variety of different ones that you get to use. Then we're going to teach you about the vortex amplification, how you amplify your power. And then we're going to bring you into the magic of what happens when you are in alignment with your highest potential timeline. This is what John and I talked about, where you get that really rapid manifestation, right? Where you can think a thought, you hold it in your field. And it's not even like we're trying to manifest anymore, like you said, John. It's not like we're writing down our affirmations in our journal, or we're setting up our crystals on the new moon, which all of this stuff is really great to do, but it's happening effortlessly at this point, right? Since we've spent so much time building these skills, it's just time to unleash them. So that's the final stage, is just that unleashing that coherence with our highest potential timeline.
This is really extraordinary in what you're bringing in, because you are bringing a standard for the high vibe, the higher vibrational. And again, remember, y'all, we talked about it earlier. It's always beginners mind. It's always beginning Bikram yoga. You're always going in and starting over again. So what happens is that we start getting into the mind frame that we're attuning to higher standard
Mhm.
a continuous basis. And it's not work. It's really being in an environment where it's elevated because of what's being presented to us, as far as who's surrounding us, why they're surrounding us, what their intention is, and what we're bringing forward. And everybody seems to float up in that process. How much awareness of the Akashic, or in self-healing, or in vortexes, does someone need to have in order to participate in something like this, Emily?
Yeah, I just figured out at the beginning of this show, everybody's beginner's mind. So, right? So if you do have expertise in these areas, I'll just encourage, lay it down and come in as a beginner and get what's available for you as you come in as a beginner. Here's what I didn't say about it, John. This is a live masterclass, you all.
Yeah, or
This is
live
not,
master
yeah,
classes.
it's not a recorded training that you go through. It is a live masterclass. And the last time I taught a live masterclass, it was $5,500, worth every single penny. And this is $168, but for you guys, it's 97.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm so excited.
Right. I'm telling y'all,
So
I've been
good.
on the journey. I have spent a lot of money in my healing journey. I've spent a lot of time in my healing journey. I have gone through the ringer and back in my journey of getting to know aspects of me that I had never known before. And every time I drop in with Emily, I learn something new. I pick up something new. Something else gets expanded. But we're doing that for each other more. And to have someone who is dedicated to doing it, and with the enthusiasm that she brings it, and again, the environment that you're being put in with others in the same way, this is epic. So I hope you all take advantage of it. Again, it's only $97. There's a 2 payment option. Live classes, again, 4 of them. It's on the page here. They are, let me read you the dates. They're Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern, February 12th through March the 6th, with replays available, an exclusive private Facebook group for authentic conversations and support, open access to multidimensional skills, proven tools to create lasting transformation in your life. And what's this bonus sneak peek into Mount Shasta's vortex?
Oh, yes. We're going to give you a behind the scenes of the energies that happen, that come through through Mount Shasta when we go there on Lionsgate.
Okay.
And activations that are special and unique to that experience with everyone.
Awesome. Yo, I
And
hope.
I will like just tiny little behind the scenes, a little bit more. The reason that I go to Mount Shasta, y'all, is because it is the root chakra of the planet. And it's also an interdimensional gateway where we have galactic energies coming in. But I take people into this place to call through clarity on what their mission is. You get full clarity on what your mission is. And like people walk away with maps of how they're going to reverse engineer creating and stepping into this mission over the course of the next year. But that's the design of Shasta, is this radical revelation of your mission and then an alignment to that timeline. So it's powerful stuff.
Amazing. All right, y'all, take advantage of the special offer here on BTO for $97. It is there for the taking, and I hope you do. All right, and let's continue with Q&A, please, por favor. Sonia, let's go to you. Laura, I'm going to get to you also. And I'm going to get to more of y'all as panelists. Raise your hands. We will get there. Hi, Sonia.
Hi, John. Hi, Emily. Thanks for choosing me. Yeah, Emily, can you tell me, is when you were talking about set up as to someone else about setting up as a successful model, that would that apply to me as well? And any guidance on my life's work, which I've been working on, but not actually getting out there for the 10 years plus. And anything that you can see in relation to particularly in relation to potential of collaborations. I think there's more than one question there.
You got a couple in there. I'm gonna start separating them out here in my mind, Miss Sonia. Okay, so the guys are saying, yes, this is for anybody who has a spiritual business. It's worth taking a look. I mean, I take a look at mine, whether the astrology is right or not. I'm checking back in with that plan every quarter. So it's a good idea for everybody to check back in and say, is the structure that I have right now serving my life? Okay, because if you build a business that doesn't serve your life too, you're gonna get in the weeds with it. So everybody should relook. Sonia, what they're saying specifically for you is that I'm feeling there's not enough fun. There's a lack of fun. The fun has drained out of it for you. So when it comes to what the business looks like or how you're putting offers out there or what kind of packages you're creating, the guys are saying these two questions for you. What are my superpowers? What would be wildly fun for me? Because you're not creating from that energy essence, you're creating from the old mind construct, which is how am I going to make enough money to pay the bills? Which usually leads us to say, how much will someone pay for that? Which throws off the whole thing, because it's not about how much someone will pay for it, it's how much value do you want to create? How much transformation do you want to create? The price point, we use money as a value exchange. It's an agreed upon value exchange, right? And we're saying, you only have to give me a little bitty value exchange for something. We're not creating the value around it. When someone, they say this in the coaching world, people who pay attention. You know why? Because let's say that like something's $100,000. John talked about how much money, or he didn't talk about how much, he just said he spent a lot, right? I spent a lot over the course of my healing and my business training. I've spent over $250,000 in the past 10 years.
Yeah, easily.
Right? But so let's say that $250,000, that's valuable to me. That's money for my family, right? I'm creating a big space if I'm willing to exchange that much value, and that creates the space that I get to be filled up. That's how we need to be thinking about pricing rather than the old model. Okay? In terms of collaboration, that fun energy, bring the fun back in, and then more people are going to want to collaborate with you. Right?
Okay.
But right now, since it doesn't feel very fun. Like you don't even feel like you're having fun in what it is that you're doing. So find ways to have more fun and let that bleed into everything else that you're doing. Let it essence and perfume everything that you're doing. The The guides are saying, don't try to have fun in your business per se. Don't not try to have fun, but find fun elsewhere. It'll be easier to
Right.
find elsewhere and then let the overflow come in.
Love that.
Right. Beautiful.
Right.
Thank you very much, Emily.
All right,
Thank you.
Sonia, good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right.
Your
So,
dad had a belief system that business was very serious and not fun, which is where that's coming from for you. Okay.
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
So we have Donna Maria. Donna, thank you for asking this question. Yes. Donna wants to know, I don't have a business. Is this course appropriate for me?
Actually, we've kind of started talking about two different things here.
We did, yeah.
I'm a spiritual entrepreneur, and I love sharing the knowledge that I've picked up along the way with other spiritual entrepreneurs, so you guys can get free in your businesses. Okay, the Heal Your Life program is for you healing across the board. All right. You do not have to be a spiritual entrepreneur. We're not even focusing on spiritual entrepreneur-y kind of things in the Heal Your Life Masterclass training. All right. It is good for entrepreneurs because we've got to keep our lives in alignment with this heaven on earth energy that we can start creating instantaneously. You know, entrepreneurs, you're going to want that. But this is not an entrepreneur program. We're going to work on personal things about your personal life.
Perfect. Thank you for asking, Donna Marie. Thank you for clarifying, Emily. And a quick clarification, Annette was saying there's something off on the page on the site. So the class does start February the 13th, Thursday. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry for typos, y'all. My head is very...
It could have been typos on our side. So February 13th, it is a Thursday, not a Wednesday, right?
Thursdays from 4 to 5:30 p.m.
Perfect. Right. Perfect. Just want to make sure that we get clarification on that. Thank you for asking about that, Annette. And Laura, let's go to you. Welcome to the call.
Thanks, John. I love how you said, I'll call on you in a minute, Laura, because you could tell like the anticipation that I felt. I've missed you. It's good to be back and be able to see you again. And Emily, thank you so much for this gift that you're giving to us. My question is, do the guides know, or were they willing to tell me, I guess, when my disability will come through?
And Emily, before you answer that, Laura's asking about the guides. Is it guides? What are you tapping into when you're tapping into Akashic, your own knowings and all that? Because it's, yeah, I want to be clear about that.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So in the space of the Akashic Records, we encounter masters, teachers, loved ones, and guides. I use guides as a general term for whoever's showing up and communicating with me. Now, it could be a master or an ascended master. It could also be, we could look at it as God or our higher self. I'm gonna go through quickly how I learned, and then from my mentor, and then I'm gonna also share with you how my guides have up-leveled that a little bit or given me a slightly different perspective.
Nice.
My mentor said, masters, teachers, loved ones, guides. Masters are like ascended masters, archangels. Teachers are light beings who are lesson specific. They come and go. Loved ones are our loved ones who have crossed, and guides are like our guardian angels. We all have between 2 and I don't know how high the numbers go, but you got more than one, and they're with you your entire incarnation here on the planet. Okay, I use the term guides loosely and somewhat generically, just for whatever one of those specific entities is coming in. Okay. Now, here's what my guides have shared with me before. Shared with me since my training. These specific entities that we give names to, like archangels or God, this is just so that we are creating common vernacular, common lexicon between us. And when we talk about the energy of Archangel Michael coming through, let's say, there's an energy signature to Archangel Michael that he's a protector, that, he can help you manifest. And so there's a consciousness that comes in on that certain vibrational frequency when we name something Archangel Michael comes, but it's all God. It's all you. It's just how we name and classify it so that we can understand it more. This is part of the power that the human has been given to create our own story and to assign value. Because truly, all information, all data is meaningless until we assign it value. So this idea of masters, teachers, loved ones, guides, this is the way that the human being attempting to understand and interpret the Akasha can assign value. Does that make
Right.
sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm totally on board with you on that.
Tracking? Okay, so back to Lara and the disability that you are expecting. Okay. I also learned from my teacher and my mentor that time doesn't work the same in the Akashic records as it does down here. And generally, it's not, when we ask for time questions in the records, what we normally get are things more like, well, when this criteria is met, when you get to a certain point where, you know, you're willing to release something, it's not like a physical time, it's more when you get here in your journey. Okay?
Okay.
They just broke all the rules for you, Miss Lara. They said, I'm feeling like about 6 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be really surprising if it's that soon, because I still am waiting for. I went through the trial or whatever with the judge, and she denied me, and then we went. My lawyer went back and appealed, and so we're still waiting to see what the results are, if they'll accept the appeal.
Okay. So I saw 6 weeks, and I've
Okay.
played these games and it's not usually 6 weeks, but let's go with what they're saying. They're saying 6 weeks. Okay, Laura?
All right, I'll take it. That
Something
huge.
really interesting happened with my brother, who military guy, like a medic, did tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. And only because he has suffered a lot of PTSD has he come around to become really woo. But he hasn't been really like a full woo guy. When I talk to him about how to manifest things, he rolled his eyes a little bit at me. We just worked on something that felt like a Hail Mary, having to do with judges and lawyers and charges that were filed against him. He got into a marital spat, and and now they all back together working it out. But you know how things can, like, okay? It was gnarly. And on a Hail Mary, I said, all right, Justin, this is how we do it. That's my brother. I said, picture the outcome you want. Hold it in your body right now. I'm going to hold it here with you. I'm going to witness it. And then we did the trick where you close your eyes and you look up underneath your eyes, makes your eyes bounce a little bit. This triggers theta brainwaves from your brain. Theta brainwaves are associated with the dream phase, REM sleep, rapid eye movement. They do not recognize limitation. So when you're shooting manifestations out there consciously, right? Because we talked about too, we're getting so good, we just think about it and it's there. But if you consciously want to shoot it out, I like this method because it sends the vibrational frequency out without the parts of us that don't believe it can happen.
Okay.
And literally, we were both like, what do you want to manifest next? All right. So I
$1 million.
And everybody should know too, the future exists in infinite possibility, right? There's always wiggle room until you've experienced it. You're still influencing the field. So this is an opportunity too, where we can take that third Akashic mindset where they said spend more time in preparation than execution. Just if the future is not happened yet, it's still uncertain. Stay in preparing for the future you want.
Okay. Thank you very much. You said it. What does it trigger when you look up with your eyes closed?
Theta brainwaves.
Theta brain.
THETA. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And don't do it more than 15 seconds, anybody, because you could get a headache. And it's really powerful. You don't need much.
It's really
Okay.
strong. Yeah. All right,
Thank
Laura.
you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks, John.
All right, let's continue. Let's go to Carla. Hi, Carla.
There we go. I unmuted.
We hear you now. Yes.
I lived down in Myrtle Beach for 2 years, left my husband and son, and I knew my husband was going to need some medical care. He was going to have cardiac surgery and that type of thing. And my son, who's going to be 30, lives with him. So I thought it would be a nice idea to come up and move in for a few months and get the boys settled. And oh, now I can't leave. My husband's gotten sicker. My son is more needy. I'm thinking that it was a loving thing that I wanted to do for both of them, and they're both like needy and need me. And I'm trying to figure out how to fly away in a good way and not to feel like I'm a horrible person for leaving the two of them and enjoying myself and having a wonderful life, which is what I really need. Any thoughts on that? I know it's
Well, that's vulnerable, and thank you for sharing. And it sounds like a very big challenge to choose yourself in this moment. So the first thing that I want to say though is every time we launch into a project, an idea, I had an art teacher tell me, you're going to go through a period where you're like, this was a terrible idea, or my project sucks. Like you're looking at your painting, you're like, this is I need to just throw it out, right? So first of all, embracing the normalcy around that, and embracing that there's okay, yep, there's going to be a part of the journey where this is how I feel. So leaning into that more and being curious rather than being judgmental that around not liking how we feel. Okay, because anytime we feel an undesirable feeling, it's really easy to judge that, right? But the invitation here, Carla, is rather than be judgmental, we want to trade judgment for curiosity. And this is another key code that will heal humanity. All right, we've got to trade judgment for curiosity. Another one, we've got to trade competition for collaboration. But rather than judging yourself here for what it is that you want, get curious, the guides are saying, because that's really what the perfect collision of all of this is for you to contemplate these questions. Okay? And why do I have why is it so hard for me to claim what I want? Obviously, I mean, there are people that feel like they're relying on you and you're going to feel guilty, but go deeper. Okay. Also,
Right.
ask the guides, where did I learn to experience guilt as a response for what I truly want?
My mother.
Oh, and look at you, mother, coming back in. Okay. All right. So lean in there, Carla. And as you heal those mother wounds, it's going to heal the wounded mother in you. Okay.
Yes. I love that. That is
Good.
beautiful. Thank you. That's
You're
just what I needed. Yeah.
welcome. Thank you.
Beautiful. Blessings, Carla. Thank you for coming
Thank
on,
you.
sharing.
Thank you.
Let's continue now. Susan, welcome to the call. And Susan, before you ask your question, I want to ask Emily a quick question. So pardon me just a second. Emily, how would this group of calls assist everybody? We've had so many different variations of situations. How are these calls, how are they set up to assist people in such different varying situations? Yeah.
You mean the calls in the masterclass?
Yeah. In the special offer.
Okay. Ask me again in like a slightly different way because I don't think
Let me ask you in a coherent way because I wasn't quite sure what I was asking, so I apologize. So we have the special offer, Hear Your Life, and there's Hear Your Life Masterclass 4 live calls, discovering the wisdom of the Akashic, secrets of health healing, the power of the vortexes. How can this class be beneficial to Carla or to Lara or to Sonia or Susan that we're about to talk to? Because they all seem like they're different type of situations. What does this put together that brings forward a wisdom that we can really work with and apply to different areas of our lives?
Yeah, thank you. Now, I think I get it now. This is designed to activate our own unique individual healer, right? The thing that we all have in common is that we all got stuff that we need to heal, right? So we need to figure out, how do we turn on and activate so that we can do this for ourselves, regardless of what's happening in our lives, right? Because yes, Carla might now be experiencing a familial problem, but as we know, the ebbs and flows of challenges in our lives, you're going to have other areas of your life where you have challenges.
Mhm.
So if you can learn the technique and how to apply it in all these different scenarios, you're going to get transformation. It's not just about learning stuff, right? This is about transformation. That's going to take you from where you are now, give you the tools to fix however you ended up there, however you got yourself there. You're going to figure out how you got yourself there, what you need to do to shift, and then you get to step back into that timeline of highest coherence. And when we all do that together, it creates this profound and radical acceleration. I find it's more profound to heal in a group like this than it is to do my own individual work. I heal faster because we're all accelerating each other together.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Thank you for answering that. Because again, the special offer, y'all, there's something in this. I mean, quite profound. There's not something in it. There's something quite remarkable about the transformation that's being made available and the way, especially that Emily guides it and helps you to embody it. So again, I hope you all take advantage of the special offer. It's $97. There's a 2-payment option. And the link is in the chat box. And with that,
fun too. You will look forward to Thursday. It's coming fast.
Amazing. I love that. Susan, I interrupted you as I called you. I apologize.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience.
No, that's no problem. Thank you for taking my call. This is like my first time. My husband is helping me here because I am sight challenged. So I need him to help me out. Hi, Emily. Since I can't really see you, I feel you and I feel your energy right now. I just want to know, I am trying to heal my eyes. If the guides from the Akashis have any special messages maybe for me, that I am doing the right thing right now and helping myself and what I am doing with the healing process. I've had dreams lately where I go into the Akashi records. The guy rips out these pages and puts in new pages, but I don't know what they are.
Oh, right on. All right. Well, we can rewrite our records. It's like rewriting our programming. It's like rewriting what is possible for us. Okay. And Susan, what I'm hearing right now is finding the gift within the wound. Okay, this is an essential part of healing, is we have to figure out it has been a gift for us in this. Do you feel like you've discovered the gift within the wound for yourself?
Yes, I've learned, I guess one of my gifts came through where I have almost kind of like 2 sights right now, 5th dimensional, where I see the other side. I see my angels, archangels, and stuff like that. But I guess I don't understand exactly why I have this gift, because I'm living here in this physical reality. And that doesn't kind of help me here because it messes up my eyesight even more. A lot of my gifts have just dramatically come online and I appreciate them. But still, I need to function in this reality.
Fair enough.
And feel in a way they're changing my timelines, because when I go off in the other realm, I can see perfectly clear.
Yeah.
Wow.
I come back to this realm, it's like, central vision went bye-bye. And it's almost like they're trying to, that's the part I'm trying to figure out, like, was I changing this in the Akashi records or what? Because they're telling me I should appreciate my gift. I'm receiving what I want, but I want the physical eyesight to get back down here and not so much the 5D, because with the 5D, you can't function with that down here.
That's
So I'm
fair.
seeing like two different worlds at the same time, if that makes any sense.
All right.
While I'm
Yes, I got-
talking to you, I see Jesus and his sunglasses floating by.
That's
But I can
right.
see that perfectly clear.
So I know he's here right now. Okay, this is fascinating, Susan. Thank you for bringing us
Mhm.
lean in a little bit here with you. So here's what I was getting. The vast majority of humanity right now can see in the 3D, but we can't see the 5D. We can't see into altered dimensions, right?
Right.
Dude and dudettes, what would happen if that script were flipped? Let's just, like, what if we weren't able to see or even perceive the density, the darkness, right? It's
Right.
almost like if it only exists if we are perceiving it. So if we
Okay.
don't, like, what if the human was flipped and we had evolved so much, like we don't even show up to see darkness. We don't see that. It's like there's a firewall there. We only see into the fifth dimension and what is possible. Okay.
Right.
So the fact that you're experiencing this, you are part of this flip for humanity. Where eventually what the guides are saying is that enough of us will agree to shut down and not even look at and perceive the density. We're not even going to show up and participate with it.
Hmm.
And you're guiding that way for us right now. The shifts and changes that are happening within your circuitry, you're like the forerunner for how humanity will eventually be. Does that make sense? You're in
So they will see like a different dimension, like a dual reality.
well, we'll see and perceive and be so consecrated in the 5D that will be all that exists. And I say that loosely because no dimension is ever all of what exists, right? But once we get to that place and it's like a collective declaration of, no, we're not showing up to participate and play in the darkness and the density. We're learning to only vibrate in the frequencies of heaven on earth. Okay?
Okay.
You're also saying that if you had the sight in the 3D as clear, you would be captivated by the world of the 10,000 things, or one, not just you, any person would be. Like when we have all of our senses intact, we're very much the material world, and the motivation or the desire or the time to spend in the 5D wouldn't really be there. You would be more focused on what's happening in the 3D. That's your husband is a soulmate there to help and to support you through this. Your souls have made a contract for him to help you in the challenges that this very special gifts creates in the 3D. But you are, it's like you're an emissary. I'm a missionary. What's it? It's John, help me with it.
Emissary.
Emissary. Thank you.
Yes.
You're an emissary. You're a galactic emissary who is undergoing like recircuiting.
Well, hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight, Susan, and at least allows your heart to relax in recognition of what may be resonant for you in this conversation. And you may want to go deeper with Emily to see what else unfolds.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of unique well, now the good part is they'll do it intermittently now. They know it's like kind of overloading on me. And then I kind of get back to the 3D world, but yet it's different now. Like I can't drive anymore. I don't know how to explain it. So that's where my husband comes in. He's like, I call him like my caregiver right now, but I know he says I'm here to help you, and she's confirming what he's always telling me. And yet I always feel like I am a problem to him. And then we get into another discussion about that. But I've learned now I'm not. we're on the journey together. And I feel like I will keep my 3D sight, but it'll never kind of be the same as it was before. But the problem with that is I can't use the computer, then I need help with everything because I can't physically do it in this realm where we are living on. And that's a real challenge.
I hear you. Yes. And there's gifts within that. So focus on what the gifts within those challenges are. And then the guides are saying, rather than focusing on how you want more sight in the 3D, what about
Yeah.
asking to increase the sight in the 5D?
Right.
Mm.
Right. And solutions will show up that way, in synchronicities and technology and different ways, and assistance for your husband.
I
Keep
know.
keep the beginner's mind, keep the innocent mind that ask from that heart space for the support that that's possibly there, which it is for you in different ways.
Mhm.
And with that beginner's mind of gratitude and humility, but also a strength in knowing that you're garnering something that is a gift that many people on this call would love to be able to touch the realm that you're touching and can't. So how do we harness it so that you're not just serving it, but so that it's serving you as well, because it wants to, right? It wants to.
Right. Okay, I understand. Like I said, I feel in my heart, I will keep kind of both visions, but one, I'll just have to kind of incorporate both of them.
Yeah.
And
It's a
that's why I'm
practice.
grateful for my husband. I know he is my true soulmate. And I mean, it's just the way it is, but yet we're sort of like on this journey together.
Blessings to you, Susan. Thank you for coming on and sharing.
Blessings to you too. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all your help tonight. Thank you.
What a beautiful soul. What a beautiful soul you are. I cut you off. I apologize. Okay, let's go to Vida. Welcome. And Vida, can I get you to unmute your microphone, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, that was weird. I was just saying hi. Emily, so my question is there a contract that I'm ready to complete or I'm ready to receive, whichever comes?
I got energy moving through my body, Vita, when you asked if there was a contract that you were ready to end, a cycle that you were ready to end. And it's a cycle of playing small and a cycle of hesitation. And so when we talk about playing small and versus playing big, like what does that really mean? Playing big means living in the full self-expression of you and feeling like you have like people want to hear from you, like you're not taking up too much space in the room, like you are valued. And not only are you valued, but it's like the meaning people value just your presence, but you add value, your wisdom, your energy. It needs to be out here in the world. And so that cycle of feeling like you're not good enough or not ready, or like people don't want to listen to you, that is done and complete.
Oh,
How does that
thank you.
resonate?
It does resonate a lot. Sometimes when I want to share my knowledge, I hesitate because maybe, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to, listen. So.
And can I reframe and guide you into going even beyond sharing your knowledge and bringing it up an octave and sharing your heart? And the knowledge will emanate from that heart space, right? How does that feel?
I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Amazing. Emily, what are you picking up?
Yeah, I'm just picking up the heart intelligence that we call that forward. And I'm going to just call mine forward a bit more right now. Feel free to join me, y'all. but to call forward the heart intelligence and to recognize, like, as it travels up through the chakras, it's going to activate the throat, which is self-expression, and it's going to rise up through the third eye and create more vision, right? And so I was just seeing like how this fountain of energy, as we activated the heart chakra, the wisdom of the heart there, would fuel our ability to be more self-expressed and also affect our ability to see ourselves differently. So that's a lot of playing big has to do with identity and giving ourselves a new identity. So we feel more comfortable in situations where we just used to shrink, right?
Yeah.
Really
Thank you
good.
so much.
What else you get, Vita, and I'm glad you're inspiring this, because what also happens as we articulate through what we've accumulated in wisdom, that does come through in the mind, and it's wonderful to share from there and explore from there. And we're seeding in an expansion that then becomes a wisdom that isn't just an accumulated wisdom, it's an experienced wisdom through the heart. That's alchemized through that. And when you hold it from that space, it's no longer something that you picked up from somewhere else that isn't completely yours. You've alchemized it into your personal expression of the essence of the divine spark that you be, and the inspiration that is. And your receptivity of that can be so powerful in ways that you couldn't imagine. But the surrender into that can feel really vulnerable. It can feel like, I don't know, I've been shut down before, it hasn't been received, it's not safe, I don't want to take up space. Well, it's so many other things. And there's one way through that. And it's just by doing it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Mm,
One
beautiful.
perspective that's helped me too, because sometimes I'll like the inner teacher will take over and I'll get like too teachery and I'll be wanting to teach people and I'll be wanting to tell them how to do it so that they can. And then when I remember, oh no, it's not about telling people what to do. That's not why I'm getting on to do a live video. I want to share what worked for me. And when I shift from, okay, I'm here to be a spiritual teacher and I got to break it down and I got to give them the stellar information. So that like how I told y'all before, right? Sometimes that can create a pressure and also it creates a bit of an incongruence in me, right? There's a bit of an ego that wants to show up and be a really great teacher rather than just saying, hey guys, this is what I figured out that worked, that got me unstuck, and I want to share it with you so that you can get unstuck too.
Mm.
So if you share from that, like slightly alter the perspective, it might feel more comfortable rather, so you don't feel the pressure of having to teach anyone anything, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Or that
Great.
people don't feel that they're being taught too, right?
Yeah.
Because that's part of it as well. And we go through our phases. A lot of times, we're on this exploration journey and we discover new things and we just want to, you should do this and you should do this, because we're so alive with it. And sometimes people don't know how to receive that, even though your intentions are just so beautiful. But
Yeah.
when you start expressing from that heart space and
Yeah.
that invite, like that's an invitation, right?
Yeah, and that's what you activated, John, right? You said drop into that heart with the heart.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you, Vida. I love where
Thank
you're going.
you.
And yeah, open.
Thank you.
Y'all, the course with Emily, $97, 2 payment option, 4 live master classes, going deeper into the work, working with the Akashic, just really tapping into that bigger self wisdom, right? And articulating it through the essence that is uniquely you. Amazing. $97. The link is in the chat box. Of course, we're going to run the replay of today's call because it's so good. You have to listen to it again. And if you're listening on the replay, welcome. Replays are always available at beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. And Emily, as we're ending tonight's call, it's been amazing. Are there any last nuggets of wisdom that you want to leave with everybody on the call?
Just tap in. All right, the guides are saying simple wisdom. Remember, miracle consciousness, getting into this gateway depends on how good you feel. So you want to feel good. You want to do things that make you feel good in as many moments as you can. All right. Another thing that John and I were talking about a little bit on the call that I want to just remind you all, humans, you were made to be in love. You're made to be in love with yourself. You're made to be in love with each other. You're made to be in love with this amazing planet. And if you notice places where you're not in love, okay? I have been not in love in some places in my life, just getting through. And I've fallen back in love in those places. And the starkness, the difference is like night and day. When you fall in love with yourself, with the people around you, with your life, you will emanate such a lightness of being that everything around you shifts and changes. So remind yourself you were designed to be in love and to radiate love everywhere you go.
Oh, I love that as a call to action at the end of today's call, y'all. Ah, amazing call, Emily. Thank you so much for your generosity, for your wisdom, just for you who you be. Amazing. And all of y'all, thank you for being on the call. Thank you for the amazing questions, your presence, your hearts, your energy, and just your devotion. Your devotion. Like I can feel it, and it's powerful, and it's melting my heart to be in the experience of that with you. So bow to each and every one of you, and namaste. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next call. Bye, y'all.